What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? This is Gangsta Astrology and Rap Beef. If you happen to like the content, come back, look at something else. If it's something that you think you mess with, then go ahead and give me a subscribe. But just for tuning in and for the sake of the hard work that I did, just give a like right there. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I try to give a little bit of the astrology to you guys. I know a lot of the people that I bring in is not really diehard astrology students and things of that nature, so I try to sprinkle it on you and give you a little bit at a time. But anyway, without further delay, for those that's really into it, we will be going over the charts of these individuals in another video. We're gonna call that a deep dive, but for right now we just gonna touch on the surface. And the question is, can Drake win, or can J. Cole win, or can Kendrick Lamar win? And what's going on? What is the nature of this beef right here? Well, to give a quick start off, we got 5 people that we're gonna touch on. We're gonna touch on Drake, Future, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and Metro Boomin. As everybody know, because he's not shy to state it, that Drake has a Scorpio sun sign. He has a Cancer moon, right? And he also has, I think I'll give y'all his Mars. No, we just gonna stick with it. He got a Scorpio sun sign and he has a Cancer moon. All right. So and his Aquarius is in his Mars is in Aquarius. J. Cole has an Aquarius sun sign, and we don't really have the birth time for J. Cole, so it may vary, but his moon is in between Aries and Taurus. Future has, just like Drake, a Scorpio sun sign, but he also has a Gemini moon. Kendrick Lamar has a Gemini sun sign, and he has a Pisces moon. And Metro Boomin has a Virgo sun sign, and he has a Libra moon. What does that have to do with what it is that we're talking about? Now, I be getting some comments for some people like they didn't click on the page. What astrology got to do with this? You crazy as hell, and so forth and so forth. Hey, look, when I was really doing stuff that was crazy, this crazy is a better kind of crazy. But just for humor, before we go into this, you got Easter coming up. Here's a fun fact. For all of you people out there that study Easter, the thing that you'll realize is that every year Easter is on a different day of the week. Let me say this again. Easter is on a different, not a different day of the week, but Easter is on a different date of the month, and sometimes it's in different months. Sometimes you may get Easter in March, like we'll be getting this year. Sometimes you get Easter in April. How is it determined when Easter is? Easter is always the first Sunday after the first full moon in spring, or after the vernal equinox, which is spring. Easter is always the first Sunday after the first full moon in spring, or the vernal equinox, right? So think about it, and you can go back and fact check this for all of the people that's so spooky about astrology when most of this stuff is based on it. But anyway, let's go. Can Drake win? The thing that we equate Drake with in battles is his win over Meek Mills. And I did a whole video on that. No, I didn't. I did a video on Drake and Pusha T, the other tours that he had a battle with. So the thing is that you have to remember, and you have to ask yourself, is who was the corner man of Drake when he went into this battle with Meek Mill? Who was Drake's corner man? Because your corner man, whoever it is that's working your corner man, is going to be real important. All right, so when Drake, if you go back and you look at the videos and everything, when Drake was talking about what was going on and who it is that he was involved with when he was going through the beef with Meek Mills, he was with Serena Williams, right? Why is that important? So it wasn't Drake's game that made that decision. It was Serena Williams. He said that when he was talking to her, because they was doing whatever they was doing at the time, and she told him, if you go at him, then you need to keep going and don't stop. You can't give him no chance to recover. So he was getting his advice from a champion. It don't matter what sports you are in. A champion is a mentality. A champion is a mindset. It's a certain way of thinking that makes them a champion. And so he got his advice from a champion. He wasn't with her when he ended up going through the beef with Pusha T. So he didn't get the same results. He was with somebody else. So if Drake can win or not is going to depend on who it is that has his ear right now, who it is that he's listening to, because he clearly doesn't have it on his own unless he just reflect back to the advice that Serena gave him at the time. And will she advise him on this one? I don't know. And will the advice be right? It's hard to say, because Serena is from Compton, right? The main person that's coming at Drake right now is also from the home city and state of Serena Williams. Both of them is from the hoods inside of Compton. So both of them is going to share a certain mindset. Both of them are winners. Don't make no mistake about it, So it's going to come on who it is that Drake has inside of his corner this go around. What Future, well, let's stay on Drake for one more minute. Drake also has a Cancer moon. With Drake's Cancer moon, then he gonna be a real sensitive, and so he's more prone to act off of his emotions. What it looked like he's falling in the category of, and a lot of people hope that he don't. I hope that he don't. I'm ready for a real rap battle to go on. This is entertainment. I grew up in an era with UTFO and Roxanne Sante battling each other, with Kool Mo D and LL Cool J battling each other, So I want to see a really good battle of skills, So for all of these other people that come on and start encouraging violence and things of that nature, if you want to take your dumb ass to the penitentiary because you want to do violence over entertainment, then that's on you. Well, I want to see the bars. I want to see the battle of the art, And so you got Drake is emotional, and that would be his Achilles heel, getting inside of his emotional bag. And we're going to touch on that when we go into our deep dive on the astrology. So to get off of that, let's take a look at Drake, how Drake and Kendrick matches up. Kendrick has a Gemini sun sign, and naturally most of our great rappers and everything, or our most notable rappers, have Gemini sun signs, all the way from your Ice Cubes down to your somebody told me I gotta get Big L because they told me I missed them, Remy Ma, Tupac, DMC, the list goes on and on and on and on. And I know I probably missed your favorite rapper, but I'm trying to make this short so I can keep your attention span on it. But the Gemini has rained down on the greatest rappers, the ones that are our icons, DOC, it's the DOC. Is it funky enough? So yeah, so we got to look at that. So he got that going in his favor, right? But here is a chink inside of his chain. And a lot of people don't see it. But I'm looking at the planets and I'm looking at the luminaries and everything. And what I'm gonna tell you is just like Drake is emotional. Well, guess what? Guess what? Kendrick Lamar has a Pisces moon. So that means that Kendrick Lamar is very sensitive himself. And his moon is making a square to his sun sign. So if Drake really wanted to go at him, he has to really get deep down and dirty, because Kendrick gonna get deep down and dirty with him. And his weak chain is dealing with his relationship with his mother. I probably shouldn't have gave that advice to him for him to go dig it or whatever, but that's his source. That's the thing that's going to rock his bells. That's the thing that's going to unnerve him or have him to you have him to snap. Now what he do when he snap, it might be a good thing for you or it might not be a good thing for you, but that's where the chink in his armor is at. That's where his creativity and everything is, because his moon makes a really good aspect to his Mars, and his moon makes a really good aspect to his Mercury. So he's a thinker, but if you want to damage his ego, it might not make you win the battle. But if you want to damage his ego, if Drake wants to damage his ego, then he has to go on that relationship right there that I just spoke of. And I'm not gonna say it twice. So yeah, but I think that'll be an awesome battle. Now let's look at the other person in the lineup, Future. And we still on Drake, right? Now Future also is a Scorpio, but he's a different kind of Scorpio than Drake is. Future is in the third decan of Scorpio, which means that he's a late November Scorpio, where he barely made Scorpio. He's only less than 3 degrees away from being inside of a Sagittarius. So he's a late Scorpio. He's like a Scorpio in the Cancer site, right? Whereas Drake is an October Scorpio, so he's a Scorpio Pluto, so he probably gonna be a little more underground, than Future is. He gonna be a little more behind the scenes than Future is. Drake is a Scorpio. He's a Pluto Scorpio. But so with Future don't really have to deal with that emotional part like Drake has to deal with that emotional part, because Future has a Sagittarius moon. We think, a Gemini moon, but we think, because we don't really have his birth time. So Future either has a Taurus moon or he has a Gemini moon. Whatever the case is, 9 times out of 10 his moon is opposed to his sun. So again, his mouth is what gets him in trouble. So I'm more inclined to think that this whole thing does have something to do with Future trying to clown Drake, or I think it's involving a female, but I don't think it's necessarily over a female, like no she's mine, the doggone girl is mine. I don't think that's the case. I think that a female is involved because he pretty much gave it away, the pillow talking and things of that nature. And I think that maybe one of them spilled something over that Future said on a humorous tip about, because Gemini is humorous, right? Gemini is your jokes. So this is your Bob Hope. Tupac is a big part that Tupac was known for was his wit, his sense of humor, right? And so I think that Future probably said something and it got back to Drake and it damaged Drake's ego, because Drake is sensitive and Future is not really that sensitive like that. His undoing though, is usually women, which we can see throughout his career. That's where he received his opposition from, even when he was dealing with the Scorpio Sierra, right? But he deals with a lot of Scorpios. But the thing that I can say about Future is I know a lot of a lot of street dudes, at least from Detroit and everywhere, a lot of street dudes tend to tap in with Future. Even when you deal with Detroit, Drake being from Canada, that's like Canada and Detroit is right around for each other. And before September the 11th, people from Detroit and people from Canada go back and forth all day. People in Detroit hang in Canada all day. After September 11th, only people that can get by with the passports and things of that nature go over to Canada, and Canada don't want you over there if you got any felonies. So that just really deadened a whole lot of stuff right there. So for the longest, it was a good brotherly type of relationship between Detroit and Canada, even more so between Detroit and Canada than Detroit and Ohio, Detroit and Chicago, Detroit and any other places, because it was right there, it bordered Canada. So with Drake, that and Future, I think that's where that whole thing is at, and I believe that Drake will probably focus more of his attention on Future, and a lot of people gonna say he's trying to go for the weakest link because he probably can out rap Future. But when you really think about it, the thing that really get Future on a lot of times is making club bangers and his hooks, and the thing that really get Drake on is his hooks. He does good hooks. His lyrics be okay, and he has some metaphors and things of that nature, but really he does good hooks. Future has metaphors as well. I personally like Drake music better, but I like Future music too. I like Future music when I'm trying to get down and dirty. I like Drake music when I'm trying to chill and maybe pop at some females or something like that, But it's a certain symmetry, and that's why they made good music together, But yeah, the thing with Drake and Future is, he's going. It is that sense of betrayal. Both of them probably feels betrayed by each other based off of maybe something minute to everybody else that the other did, and so that caused the other one to do it, and so forth. But I believe that Drake might have started the slighting first. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. You're dealing with two Scorpios, so it's something subtle that probably happened, that they never spoke on. They just made up their decisions about how they was going to move forward with that person, and that's how it was. So I think that he's going to focus his attention more on Future because his emotions are involved and he feel betrayed. He already knew that he had the beef going on with Lamar, the Kendrick Lamar. They've been throwing subs at each other. But another thing, Drake got a lot of stuff coming at him. This is the season with Scorpio. Scorpio got to kind of navigate some stuff, But you can't never count him out. Remember, he still got the bars that Meg Thee Stallion threw at him, even though it was kind of in response to some of the stuff that he was saying, But she still threw some bars at him. So he got a lot of stuff to answer to. And I think the only way that he can really win this thing is he got to just air everybody out. And that's the smart thing that Kendrick Lamar did. Kendrick Lamar made it. Kendrick Lamar is a small guy, right? And so the thing with being a small guy, that you pick fights that if you lose, you can't really lose because you the small guy, right? And so people, at the end of the day, people gonna say, well, at least you had the heart to go up and you scrapped, and if you win, then you a giant. So it's always a win-win with you if you're a small guy, unless you're fighting another small guy, then it's something that's more even. And so that's why Kendrick went at two giants, literally that's way bigger than him, and he went at two giants because it would be hard for him to lose, but he do have some stuff on the table that he can lose from. Whereas Drake really got to go, and the only way that Drake can come out of here a winner, he can't do like he did with Pusha T. If he do like he did with Pusha T, then it's done. He might as well forget the whole street audience on rap and just do his pop thing like he halfway been doing anyway, and forget about this street side, just go all the way Britney Spears on him. Because what he has to do, he still has a makeup for Pusha T. You know, he has to place himself in a position where he's going at so many people. If he wins, then he's etched in as the God, right? But and if he lose, he's still gonna win some of those battles, and people gonna give him the heart because he stood and he fought his ground. Nobody likes a cur. A cur is a dog that don't scratch. If you fighting dogs and your dog don't scratch, then that means that he's not coming out there to fight, and so he's gonna be curred out, and your dog is gonna have the reputation of being a cur. And anybody that your dog fight after that is not really gonna be a win for the dog that's fighting against you, because your dog is a cur. For all of the dogs, if Dre does not scratch, then he curred out, right? He curred out. If Drake, I keep saying Drake, but if Drake does not scratch, then he curred out. You know, so he has to go at Pusha T, he has to go at Meg Thee Stallion, he has to go at Future, and he has to go at Kendrick Lamar. He got to spray everybody up. If he don't do that, that's the only way that he almost guaranteed a victory. If he don't do that, and I'm teetering on if he should even give some bars to J. Cole, but I think because J. Cole is gonna come in with the surprise factor, which we gonna touch on that, but J. Cole might even go at Drake. You know, J. Cole really went at Drake on First Shooter. You know, he really put some bars at Drake, but they was on the same song. Drake didn't return pushing the bars at J. Cole. I don't know what that was about, you know, but even if it was friendly, he didn't return those bars. But J. Cole put bars at Drake. If you saying that when he said talked about the big three, but he's feeling like Muhammad Ali, if you saying that that's a bar at Kendrick Lamar, then you have to say that that was a bar at Drake also. Right? So he went at, if you saying he went at Kendrick Lamar on that, then he went at Drake on the song that they was on. Drake didn't give him no bars back. Drake didn't go on him. If he did, put it in the comments, because I missed it, you know, or I forgot about it. But he gave a bar to Drake too. You know, Drake didn't really give a bar to him. You know, well, he kind of subbed him a little bit when he was like, you know, you a reflection of me. So that is a sub. You know, that is a sub. It's not as direct as J. Cole's was, right? About the Spider-Man, you know, and the reflection. So yeah, so that's gonna be, he gotta go at everybody. That's the only way that I see that Drake can really win on this thing right here. Let's go Metro Boomin. Alright, so Metro Boomin has a Virgo sun sign, but he got a cluster in Libra. I understand why he's doing the music right here, but his moon is potentially inside of Libra. And I say potentially inside of Libra because, again, with him, we don't know his time, so it's a chance that his moon could be in Virgo or his moon is in Libra. I'm going to stretch and say that his moon is inside of Libra, you know, but even if it's not in Libra, it's still going to have a Libra influence. Virgo, that's your Nas. Virgo is just the inverted Scorpio. The symbol for Virgo is the M, but it's going across the body. The tail is going across the body in Virgo. With Scorpio, it's the M, but the tail is going up. You know, it's an M, and then the tail is going up. With Virgo, it's an M, but the tail is going across the body. So they share a lot of the common factors. Virgo is a little more drier than Scorpio, you know, but all of the underpart and the way that they battle and things of that nature is a lot more is a lot similar. You know, Metro Boomin went in, you know, he went and got other people and solicited other people, and you know, that's the way that he wanted to go at Drake. You know, so Drake's beef here is with a lot of people that he feel betrayed him, and to Scorpio, that's the biggest injury that you could do, is to be a traitor to them, to betray them. you know. And so he got two people on here that he feel betrayed them, while the other person is somebody that he already had an open beef with. So he gonna be less mad about that and more about the people that he feel betrayed him. That's Metro Boomin. Now J. Cole. People saying that J. Cole caught a stray. The only way J. Cole caught a stray is if when he was riding his bike, he picked up a puppy that didn't have no collar or nothing like that, and he took him home with him. That's the only way that he caught a stray. This was direct. This was direct, and still, he still didn't say this was. This was more direct than it's been, because it's still, if it was all the way direct, then he'd say a name where it ain't no guessing about it. Even though this is almost direct, you know, you still got people saying, you know, finding out to say, well, maybe he was really directing it towards Drake. He wasn't really directing it towards J. Cole. And I don't think that that's a valid argument, but because he didn't say his name, you know, then that's why it's like that. And when you think about Drake, when Drake went back at Pusha T, you know, he responded on his whole album. He changed a whole lot of stuff on his whole album, going at Pusha T, unless he had those subs already there, you know, but he didn't say his name. Pusha T told him, don't ever mention his Virginia, I think her name was Williams, don't ever mention Virginia Williams' name on a track again, and that name has never been mentioned on a track again by Drake, you know. So that's another thing. If Drake go at Pusha T, he definitely has to mention Virginia Williams, you know, and so, or whatever her name is. And so, you know, but those bars was for J. Cole too, and J. Cole has been one of my favorite rappers. I think he is an awesome MC. You know, what is J. Cole gonna do? I think he gonna be less. He's not gonna do all of the ranting at the concerts and everything. I don't like that. I don't want to see no tweeting. I don't want to see none of. I didn't even want to see that ranting at the concerts that Drake did. You know, put it in bars. You know, if you ain't gonna put it in bars, shut up, because you starting to go up like Nicki. You know, if you ain't gonna put it in bars, then take your L, another L, you know, and you ain't about to be cool, you know, because you on a track with Jay. Get it? LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? 2 L's. I took those L's and rocked your bells. For y'all young ones, y'all gotta go back in time and see that reference. And just about that reference, once he was a little ball of clay. Easy. That was the sample that brought in Kendrick Lamar on that song. It was Compton's own Easy E that he sampled. And again, let's get that. Remind me out there in Cyberland when I get to Kendrick Lamar to speak about how he might have gave how Ice Cube might have caught a bar from from Kendrick Lamar on that song also. But he definitely was going at J. Cole, and his verse sounded real simple to a lot of people, but if you really go into, he had triple entendres inside of there. You know, he had metaphors on top of metaphors on top of metaphors inside of there. Each one of those bars had at least about 3 or 4 different meanings to them. So it's a whole lot deeper than it really looked like on the surface. And one of the things, you know, like when he said Andre 3000 or with that stick, right? People talking about the flute or the pipe, whatever it is that he running around with. But if I'm not mistaken, I have seen him with a cane on a few awards or something like that he was walking with. I know I seen him walking around with a cane several times. So, you know, that could have been another way that he was intending that. But it was bars directed at him, you know, and I got a beef with people leaving Big Sean now, because Big Sean definitely out raps Drake. He's definitely side by side, questionably better sometimes than J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar ain't consistent enough for us to say if he's better or not. You know, that's like a person fighting 50 fights and a person fighting 10 fights. You know, of course the person fighting 50 fights take a greater chance of losing a fight, and so than a person that's only fighting 10 fights. So, you know, you can't really, you got to be more consistent than that. J. Cole, should he respond? Yeah, hell yeah, he should respond. If J. Cole don't respond, and here's the thing, J. Cole has a Aquarius sun sign, and he has potentially a Taurus moon, but he can have a Taurus moon or he can have a Aries moon. You know, with J. Cole, I think he has the lyrical ability, and that's just like Big Sean. But does he have the fighting tenacity to go into this battle right here? He's an athlete, so he's competitive, but does he have that dog hood fight mentality inside of him that's gonna make him go there? You know, that's the question that I have about J. Cole. Is he gonna suddenly get on his spiritual path and say that, well, I'm gonna take the higher road, you know, or is he gonna go for these bars that he been asking for, like he told YB? If you ain't gonna have to wonder if I go at you, I'm gonna hit you like it's a caller ID, or however he said it was, you know, however he said that bar. It was cold though, but you know, what's up, Cole? I'm in NC right now. You know, we got Dreamville coming up in a couple of weeks. It's a chance for him to reveal something at Dreamville. You know, people just gonna have to wait, man. It ain't these battles. You know, they ain't like they used to be. And sometimes we did have to wait for responses inside of the old days. You didn't have internets and stuff like that, so it was understandable. But I don't know. So J. Cole, yeah, J. Cole gotta respond. The only person, it's a lot lot less complicated for J. Cole because he ain't got the whole kitchen sink thrown at him. He just got one person that he can go toe to toe with. You know, so yeah, he need to respond, and both of them need to respond on different songs, and they also need to come right back and respond on the song together. Cause they got jumped, so ain't nothing wrong with a gang fight in rap. And I'm talking about a lyrical gang fight, not none of that other shit that's gonna get you locked up. You don't want to be locked up, man. I did 24 years. Y'all don't want to be locked up. People telling you when to piss, when not to piss. You don't want to do that. You know, stop trying to send people on goofy ass missions. All right. So there we have it. That's my take. That's my take. Until next time, this is 313 Astrology TV. No. Until next time, this is Gangster Astrology and Rap Beef. Doses.